Good morning. This is my first video that I'm doing some light makeup for the day because I'm about to go out to lunch with some friends and my son is probably going to be in the background being crazy. I don't have the most beautiful background, so please disregard all the stuff that's in the background. I'm going to start off with, I used M61 Vitablast C serum on my face this morning after cleansing, and it's by M61, which is sold at Blue Mercury. And I followed it with Ren Global Day Cream, which is one of my favorites right now because I have a combination skin type and it doesn't make me over oily. I'm going to go in with one of my favorite primers. I am an person, so you'll hear a lot of ums in my video. Give me just a moment to get it out. I carry everything with me most of the time. So this is Ren Perfect Canvas. It is a primer slash finisher before you start your makeup. It is silicone free skin finishing serum, so it has a really lightweight texture to it, which I like because I don't like everything to feel super heavy. And it says after moisturizer, apply 1 to 2 drops to fingertips and then sweep over face and neck until fully absorbed. Follow with your favorite foundation or BB cream. For those in a rush, simply add your moisturizer, as simple as that. So I am gonna usually put the drops on my face. I'm gonna do a drop. I might do 3 drops instead of 1 to 2. So I usually do 3 drops just to make sure that it finishes completely all over the face so that when I put my makeup on, there's no gaps where there might not be some finishing serum. So I'm gonna go through with my finishing serum. This may be a rather long video, so I apologize because I haven't practiced with any kind of video apps to crop or pull out clips specifically or do voiceovers or music. Wish I knew how to do that. If anybody has any tips, shout out at me. All right, now that we are finished with our primer, I'm doing a really light look, like I said, so I'm probably gonna do something like a caviar stick for an eyeshadow. And I may pull a smaller mirror out so that I can see what I'm doing while you watch what I'm doing. I wish I could get this video a little bit closer, but I can't. All right, so usually I go in with my eye first, my eye products first before I do anything else, which, by the way, reminds me, I haven't put on an under eye cream. I really like the La Mer Illuminating Under Eye Gel, which they don't sell anymore. I just happen to have a bottle of it in my cabinet, my bathroom cabinet, last month when I was looking for a new day eye cream, and this stuff feels like velvet on the skin. Hopefully they're reformulating it and bringing it back because it's super nice. You can also mix it with your concealer, which gives it a really nice finished look. Just be careful with the kind of concealer you're using with it because this is a very velvety finish. And I noticed when I used it with NARS, it was more patchy. When I used it with Shape Tape Concealer by Tarte, it looked pretty good. I may go in with Makeup Revolution today because that's what I have in front of me at the moment. I am going to use the Rose Gold Caviar Stick by Laura Mercier. It's one of my favorite caviar sticks, super light. Very good everyday stick for all the time, and you don't have to put a primer on underneath of it. It just kind of dries and stays. And I'm going to blend that with my finger, just kind of all over the lower part of the lid up towards the brow bone to give me a little bit of a nice glowy shine. I usually do a pretty heavy face of makeup, but I'm not going anywhere drastic today. I'm not trying to blow the whole restaurant away, I guess you could say. Tap that in a little bit. So now I just have a nice glowy finish on my lids. one of my favorite. I wipe everything on my hand. Let's see here, is that pretty even? Looks pretty even to me. So I'm gonna go in with Laura Mercier's Nude Oil-Free Tinted Moisturizer. Shake it up a little bit. It has SPF 20 in the shade Nude, if you can see. And put that on my hand, and I actually prefer to use a brush when putting it on. Might be a little weird for some, for brushes for just about everything. I do have a mirror in front of me underneath of my ring light, so I'm gonna use that. It's a bigger mirror. I am using Jaclyn Hill's Morphe brush, her first collection, which was in the black case. I love this collection of brushes. It has pretty much everything you could need. It's not sold anymore, but her new brushes that are in the silver case on Morphe, or that were in the silver case on Morphe, are pretty similar. She added a few new ones in there. And then she has an eye brush set that actually has like a cream brush in it, which I highly recommend, because this one does not have a cream brush in it, and it kind of stumps me sometimes. I have to grab a cream brush from somewhere else, which I have an abundance of cream brushes to put eyeshadow primers on and stuff. But her new brush collection is a little bit better than this one. I'm just gonna make sure this is evenly finished on my skin. All right. Now, if I could find, it's all good, I'll wash my hands after. So I'm gonna let that set for a second. And I'm gonna go in with Makeup Revolution, whoops, upside down, small bottle, and this is shade C6. You can see. Get a little bit of this. Do a couple stripes because I'm doing tinted moisturizer, so I don't want this to look super overdone. I just want a light finish that covers some of the darkness I have in my eyes. I am now using the Morphe brush E8. I really like it for under eye. It's very fluffy and it blends everything in really seamlessly. Versus like your typical under eye concealer brush, which is a little bit more tapered sometimes, or some people use like the old version of the foundation brush, which is fairly flat. Really like this one because it's fluffy and it blends really well. Hold on, gotta refocus. A little bit of highlight. Not going in with like super highlight all over my face. Just want a little bit of highlight, make me look alive. Make me look like I didn't wake up and come out of a grave somewhere. I am now looking for an under eye powder brush because I am one of those people that has super bad under eye lines. Stuff gets stuck under there all the time. It drives me crazy. And I'm sure most of you know what I'm talking about. If you don't get fillers and you don't get face stuff all done, you always have the creases under the eyes. There is not a concealer in the world that I have met yet that can avoid having creases under the eyes. Just keep that in mind when everybody says it's a crease-proof concealer. I am going to go over top of my concealer and set it with the La Mer loose powder, which I love. I usually use as a full coverage foundation La Mer the Soft Fluid in shade Linen right now because I just got back from the beach, so I'm a little bit darker. Sometimes I have to mix Linen and Creme to get my color because they make my perfect shade, but in the wintertime I'm probably closer to the color Creme. And I'm gonna take Morphe brush M4 438, and I'm gonna set so that my concealer does not crease. And this powder has a little bit of illumination in it, so it has some specks of prettiness. It's pretty gorgeous when it's all said and done. If you have been on my Instagram and you see the full coverage the pictures that I post, where my skin looks pretty good and I have pretty full coverage stuff on, I use the La Mer foundation and I use the La Mer powder, and it gives a beautiful glow, a gorgeous finish. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but if you want to splurge on yourself, I definitely recommend going in and getting a sample at a Blue Mercury that carries La Mer, or I think some Saks carry La Mer, and even Marcus. This stuff is amazing. Let's see here. Next, I think I want to do, I'm trying to think if I want to do a cream contour or a powder contour. Powder's a lot easier. I have not perfected cream yet, so usually I use this as my cream contour. But I think I'm gonna just go with powder. Powder's a little bit easier for me, considering I'm trying to get this done quickly so that I can go to lunch with my wonderful friends. I have to go return some things to Victoria's Secret. Fun stuff. And I usually do bronzer. Oh, I am using this Morphe brush, is R2. And I love the way that it does bronzer because it is not like a super puffy brush. It's actually got more of two flat side surfaces that go out into like a more tapered puffy brush, but it gets, you know, that nice bronzer line here. I guess you would call it a contour line, but I don't contour a whole lot. Only when, you know, I'm trying to be really fancy. Usually I go in with a powder bronzer and I kind of try to make it look like it's from within, because I'm not a big lines person. I like things to be buffed out and fluffy and really more natural looking for the most part. Now I'm gonna take the Morphe M437. This is almost like a refined like contour brush a little bit. And I'm gonna take Chanel's Le Beiges N40. This is a little mini that I had gotten when I worked for Chanel, and it really works for when I want to deepen that, I guess I call it a back contour, but the part that it's coming down from the ear, when you want to make it look a little bit deeper, give it a little bit more definition. Sometimes I use Casino by NARS to give the definition part, but this little mini one is super easy to travel with. So I'll give myself a little bit of definition here. Actually am gonna give myself some definition on my nose because I have recently started really loving the nose contour thing, but I don't do it like lined like crazy. And for my original bronzer that I did, I used Laguna by NARS. Love NARS stuff. Love, love, love. And let's see here. I am actually going to use NARS again. Orgasm Blush, super popular color. You probably all have it. If you don't, go get it because it's pretty much every season. I'm gonna put it on the apples of my cheeks. And I am using a Bobbi Brown blush brush. This is part of probably before they redid their brushes, but I've had this brush for like, I don't know, 6 years. I love this brush. I've been able to clean it and keep it really, really nice for the most part, but I'm not sure if they make them with the same hairs that they used to when I got this brush, because this brush looks different than the other Bobbi Brown brushes. I'm really stoked that I got to keep my amazing Bobbi Brown brush. But on to other things. Let me see what I have in my bag of goodies here. Oh, I put a brush in there. What else do I want to do? Maybe some highlight. Let's see what I have in my drawer. This is another NARS product. This is Dual Intensity Blush in Vengeful. I really like the highlight color in here. It gives a really, really nice, goldish, more fall highlight. And I'm just gonna put that in the typical area that most girls put their highlight. Sometimes